Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Between the Melodies. For those of you who are new here, this is a podcast series all about music, exploring behind the scenes with studio stories and discussing also how artists can navigate the music industry. Hopefully, by the end of it, you'll be able to gain some insight that can help you along your own journey as well. Our guest on the podcast today is both an artist but also runs his own record label, dating all the way back to 2017. Over the years, he had some breakthrough tracks like Lever's Polka, if that's correct, and then Around the Sun as well. And I'm really happy that he's able to join us today. I've had some records released on his label as well. So yeah, welcome Martin of Decrypted Records, or better known with his artist name of Decrypt.
Yeah, thank you. And very nice of you to have me on the podcast.
So to start off, let's have some quick fire questions. So I've got here 5 questions. So hopefully we'll get to know more about you and your label. So the first one is, what would you say is like your favorite genre of dance music? If you had to pick one.
Oh, it's a hard one because I like a lot of genres within like the EDM scene. But if I think about it in the like long term, it's probably sort of a mix between maybe progressive house and more like the electro house style. Just because it's the genre that I actually have listened to for the longest time, and never really stopped listening to as well. So I would have to say that those two are probably my favorites for
Cool.
that reason.
Yeah. And similar to that question, I mean, it might be a hard pick, but what do you think would be your all-time favorite track?
Oh, mm, it's a hard one. I think like I enjoy like a lot of the big songs that came out in 2012. It was like in my eyes the golden year of electronic music. So probably one of the most iconic from that time is Calling, Losing My Mind with Alesso and Sebastian Ingrosso. That is probably my all-time favorite, I would
Yeah, I
say.
mean, this track is still being played today, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's a massive
and
one.
it's such a huge tune, and I think they did a lot of like really cool things in that track, and yeah, it has really stood the test of time.
Yeah,
As you said, it's been played everywhere
yeah,
in like all different versions, and even like much younger people that like were very young when it was released, they know it inside
yeah,
out as well. So it's like it had it has just lived on forever. It feels like.
yeah. And now a little bit about your label. So, what's like the story behind the name, Decrypted Records?
It was like sort of just an easy name because I set up the idea behind, um, or actually it was like this. I used a lot of different artist names like in
Mm,
my early years when I wasn't so serious about making music. It was just for fun. Um, and like in the early stages, you pick a name and then it's like, after a while, it's like this is not good. Maybe it's like something that is very hard to search for or stuff like that. So it came to a point where I released my first song on Spotify, and at that time it was so then I was like, oh, now I finally have to like pick an artist name that I actually want to use. So then I came up with the idea of Decrypt. So then I went with that artist name. But to release a song, even if you didn't have like a label, you had to write a label name.
yeah,
So it was like I didn't like have that much time to think about it. So it was like, oh, what can I write? And I just used my name in a different form to create the label name. But I really liked it, so it has just stuck after that. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just a connection with my name initially, and because I had to pick something at the time, and
yeah.
yeah, I
That's
haven't
really cool.
regretted that choice at least.
Yeah, and could you give me maybe 3 words that describe the music from your label?
I would say diverse. Also sort of evolving. And mm, I would say the last one is a bit hard because I would like to say that like maybe sort of up and coming because that was always sort of the point, supporting
Mm.
smaller artists, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that captures well the label. I mean, I think we'll come back to this, but you also, produce a wide range of genres as well. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. And lastly, where would you recommend anyone like when they come to visit your home country or your hometown? Is there like a place that you think they really should go?
Mm, I mean, it's a bit tricky. I'm not really sure. Like, I would say like if you visit Sweden, I would say go to maybe Gothenburg, uh, like one of the biggest cities, because it's a nice town. There is a lot of things to do. So if it's your first visit to Sweden, go there for sure. And if you enjoy like smaller places, there are a lot of smaller places, but it doesn't really have like a lot of attraction, so to say. It's like if you maybe like very niche sort of history or something, then it could be some good places for you. But as a first time visit to Sweden, I would go to probably Gothenburg, because it's like out of the three big towns, it's the nicest in my eyes.
Yeah, I'll definitely note that down. But yeah, that's really cool. And I think to get more into depth, I think let's start with, let's say, your main artist project, Decrypt. So why did you decide to pick up music production? And was there something that really inspired you to start making music and releasing music?
Yeah, we can start at why I started making music in the first place. That was because ever since I like heard like early electronic music, it's always been something I kind of enjoyed. And when I was young, Bass Hunter released his like first songs, and me and a few friends we absolutely loved all of those songs. And then it was like one day in school, one of my friends said that, "Oh, I found like what the program Bass Hunter used to make his music. You wanna like come by my place and try it?" So I went to his place and we tried it out, and it was like, "Oh, this is super fun." So after that, this has just been going, and this was like we were super young at the time, so we barely knew any English. So we just had to like we pressed things and and saw what happened, and that is how we learned what to do. So that is the story. It's basically we I enjoyed Bass Hunter, the early Bass Hunter music, and yeah, and then I wanted to make it myself.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, that's a really cool story. What software do you actually use? Like rack production?
I'm using FL Studio.
All right.
Because I started in that, and I've never had any like issues with it. In like I feel like I'm missing this feature and this is super annoying to do. Um, so then it's like a comfort thing if you know the software. I haven't really
Yeah.
like felt any need to try anything else. Um, but I mean, most people probably stay if they start with one of the like big softwares, they probably stay with that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they have like a very good reason to switch, I would say.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you using?
Oh,
I'm interested.
I'm using Logic. I mean, I
Logic,
started
yeah.
like on GarageBand, and then obviously I moved up to Logic. So it was quite a, let's say, an easy transition because they modeled GarageBand out of like a simplified Logic.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and like you, I mean, I've stuck to that since day one, really.
Yeah, because as long as you don't feel like they have some sort of features you have to or want to use, but that are super annoying to use or require like really expensive
Yeah.
third-party plugins or stuff like that, I I've never felt any need
Yeah.
to switch.
Yeah. Yeah. So leading on nicely, I know I've mentioned some of the tracks from yours that did really well. So
Yeah.
did you like expect that to happen at all?
Uh, no. is the answer to that. That like um, never really like initially with the label, it was never really a thing to run a label as well. It was more a thing me and a friend of mine, Asin. I released his music as well, just to because I could. So
Yeah.
I helped him out with that, and we worked a lot together back in the day. So um, and then it came to the point where I had like the first song. It was Polka. It was quite big. So not like it got more streams than I would have expected.
Yeah.
But it was not like any crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And then started thinking about maybe you can like scale it up a bit because Asian had a huge song as well, cover. So we actually started getting some traction really in the first like half year really, because we started at the summer in 2017, and we had released both of these songs before, I think November maybe. So that got the idea. Maybe you can like use this traction to maybe help out more with the label. And then I had the big song at the start of 2019, but then we have already started the label. So those two songs were what got the label started basically. But Around the Sun was like the big song, and that I never expected because that went really crazy. And I thought when I saw like it released like on Fridays, which is pretty standard. So when I woke up on Friday, I was going to the gym early in the morning, and it was like the song had been out for like maybe 6 hours or something, and the numbers was so much higher than they normally were at that time. So I was like, oh, somebody had probably like forgotten the song on repeat overnight, because it happens from time to time with people like they listen to a new song and then they just mute it because they do something, and since they muted it, they forget it's playing in the background. So I was like, oh, somebody has forgotten the song on overnight, but then it never really slowed down. It's actually like the streams were going up even faster. So I had no clue what's happened. And Also because like you can't see any statistics from where streams are coming from a bit over a day afterwards. So it was on Sunday first you could really see what's the sources, and it got a lot of support. So and the streams on that morning that I felt was crazy was nothing, because on the Monday afterwards it got added to like a very big playlist.
Wow.
And it just went crazy, like through the roof. Never expected that. Really fun experience though. And I mean, it helped me basically run the label further. I mean, you could spend more on doing like promotion, doing some nicer things with like you could license better art, all that. So yeah, it has basically paid for everything that has been done on the label afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it provided a really good sort of boost, or like a foundation to really kickstart everything for you. But afterwards, why did you think those tracks did well? Was there like something, or like in particular maybe that you think it was different with that song?
That one, it stood out because nobody really made that style anymore. It was like the old hands up style from I don't know if you know like Mania and Cascada. That was very big for a few years. It was a style that was very big. So when I actually released Around the Sun, I was not even sure like that I could release it under my name at all because of the style. I felt like, oh, I enjoy this, but it hasn't been popular for I don't know how many years. So I felt like, maybe it's a good idea. So I didn't really care about the release so much because I felt like this is not something people will enjoy. But that might also have been why it was successful, because it stood out at the time because nobody did a style. It was sort of an unexpected release to see. So I think that, and it was just, it's a good vibe track. So for the other one, it uses like It's based on a like traditional folk song from Finland.
Mm.
And the style I used as well was inspired by what um, like the popular sound of around that time. So it was like combining two things, a very popular style and a melody a lot of people know. So that I'm not that surprised that it went well with, I would say.
I mean, from listening to you, I think that the key take back is really like, just to trust your instincts. I mean, because I mean, at least for me as well, like when you think of, should I release this song? It's like, does it fit with my sound? Do I think it would work? But sometimes you just have to put it out there, and you never know what's going to happen. I think that's like basically in your case with Around the Sun.
Absolutely, and I think like an advice in general to other artists, I would say either you make it your style that you don't really have a style,
Mm.
because if you do a particular genre for very long, then the following you build is based on that sound
Yeah.
for like a large portion. Of course, some people will follow you because maybe they enjoyed you, or but if you build a following after, for example, you release progressive house only for like 3 years, and then you suddenly switch, then a lot of people will be disappointed because
Mm.
the reason they follow you is because this guy he's one of the best progressive house people. Um, so if you make it your style, if you want to be like creative and release all sorts of styles, you should just do that from the beginning, I would say, because otherwise you get into this sort of tricky situation. Of course, sometimes it works out, but sometimes it does not, because like I know I have unfollowed artists on Spotify that I enjoyed for many years, and then they make like a huge change in style, and it's like, if this is the only thing they're gonna release now, it's no point of following them because
Mm.
it just basically just clogs up your release radar and stuff like that with songs you're not interested in.
Yeah.
Um, and that is as I said, it's a point because I follow them because this guy have a really unique sound, and then they ditch that sound for something completely different, and it's like kind of lost the point. But of course, it doesn't always happen. But there is a risk of that if you base your um, like your early career on a specific sound.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a really good advice. And now another really big aspect from you, of course, is the label, Decrypted Records. So
Yep.
I know you touched on this, but what made you decide to start like a label, so releasing music from other artists, and what were like the early challenges you faced? Because obviously it wasn't planned, I guess, to really build a label from that.
Um, the so it progressed quite naturally, I would say,
Mm.
because I released my own song, and then I released basically immediately songs from Asin as well, because we're good friends. So, and I could release his music as well, and then we had a bit of success, both of us, and it was like, oh, maybe we can help out, like use this to help out some other smaller people, because it was like I'm a strong believer in that you shouldn't really use the label as a sort of as an how do you say it? It's not like a something that is guaranteed for success, but it's a very good tool if you want to network. For example, if within a label, if we are like maybe let's say 5 to 10 artists that works actively within the label, and then it's like, oh, I want some remixes made of my songs. Bam, it's super easy. You send it out. Out of these people, there are always like two that would be interested in doing it. So you can use that really. So we have used it a lot for like remixes and stuff like that. So we thought that like, oh, why not scale it up to a few more people? Because then we can share their songs, they can share our songs, we can make some remixes, and ultimately like you tie together multiple people's followings into like a bigger one and help each other out. And I think that is very important, especially for smaller artists
Mm.
that doesn't have any following to start with. So that is like the beginning. The challenges to scale it up afterwards is that to get access to a lot of the things you require to run the label smoothly requires you to basically already have a sort of kind of big label. Not I'm not talking like the major labels, but you need to have like a very active label, and because a lot of the services and stuff like that are application based. So they look at your tracks, how they're performing, which artists you're releasing with, and what you plan to do in the future. Um, and that is quite hard if you have a very new label with only like small artists. It's like hard to get into those services. But so I would say that is like the biggest obstacle, that you really like you have to really work with it, and get past that. And after that, it's a lot better.
And also, like nowadays, there's so much music being uploaded to like Spotify every single day. So it's really hard for like, especially for smaller artists to stand out. So what do you look for in a demo before you decide to sign it or move on? So like, what should aspiring producers focus on to give themselves the best chance of getting signed?
Like previously, we have basically just looked at the quality of the track. And if we have enjoyed the track, then we have signed it basically. Right now, it's a sort of pause because I have to do a lot of like back end things right now, but it will become more active again in the future once all of those things are done. But we're also changing a bit how we look because we released a lot of songs, but we want to be a bit more selective in the future, because the workload gets quite crazy when you run it basically on your own, and have a lot of releases, because like you have to prepare the releases. That is a lot of work, but then all releases have some sort of upkeep that just keeps adding on. So in the future, we will of course still be looking very much on the quality, but also who the artist is. Like if it's somebody we have worked with before or can work with for multiple tracks, it would be a lot better. And also what sort of like how active they are. I don't think you have to have a big following, but I think for future releases we are probably going to be selected. So people that are not active at all on social media, for example, or engage in any form of promotion on their own. And with that, I don't mean paid promotion, but actually like posting about the track, or something like that. Will probably not get signed even with a very good song, because it always feels kind of bad from the label side because we spend money, and there are of course lots of tracks that never recuperate the money that we have to spend on them, and then it's like the artist never posts anything about it, or maybe multiple weeks afterwards or something like that. So I would say that then it always feels bad from the label side, that we have spent money on that, and it doesn't really feel like the artist appreciates it at all, and doesn't contribute to sort of trying to bring any form of success to the song. So a bit of that as well. So good quality, being at least semi-active on like social media. You don't have to have in all platforms. Like if you use Instagram or if you make YouTube videos or whatever, at least something would probably be like the big things. And also from my point of view, the absolute biggest thing is to be very professional, I would say, because if you send songs to a label and it's like the whole situation sounds like you sent like a random demo to a friend, and it's like, oh, can you have a listen at this, basically. It sounds very unprofessional. So make sure the track is basically done, and that you actually send like a professional message, not just, oh, please release this, like not signing off with your name, not initiating with hello, not saying anything about the track or like anything. If you just say please release this, it's like doesn't give us a good impression.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially because I know you mentioned about building this community, especially for a label like yours. So I guess picking, I guess, working with the right people, and building a really sort of strong sense of community is something really important. So yeah, for those of you watching, make sure to when you interact with labels, just keep that in mind as well. So you touched upon, what you expect from the artist, but also, I mean, your label, what do you offer to the artist? So how does that working relationship look like?
I mean, first of all, it's like as a label, you can offer a lot of different things. First of all, we do all of the preparations, the release, all of the accounting afterwards. If you, for example, do a collaboration, we handle like the royalty splits between multiple people, and basically we just ensure that you can focus on making the music, you release it, and then you don't have to basically think about it afterwards, because if there are new platforms available, we make sure it gets onto those platforms. If there are any like special opportunities, then we can pounce on that as well. And from a label side, I think you should see it as a way of getting into a network. So if you work, as I said, if you work actively with a label, you should see if like, oh, do I like the music from the other people working with the label? So I really think that is a big thing you should look for, and what is one of the bigger offerings, I would say, that because we can coordinate a lot of things, but also as we work with a lot of smaller artists, we're a bit more resistant to pay for like bigger projects. But we have made like lyrics videos, custom made vocals, big remix packs, and that has basically all coordinated from the label side. So the artists just have to send us a few things, and then we sort out the rest. So a lot of things are just like it's like comfortable, a chance to reach a broader audience, and also don't have to think about it, because after a while, if you release a lot of music with a lot of different collaborations, for example, it's gonna add up, like if you actually want to split the royalties fairly between your collaborators. So I think from that point, you can save a lot with the label. And also, one of the big things, and this also requires a bit more professionalism from the artist, because it requires proper artist pictures, and a bit of headway because of the lead times. But as a label, you have access to pitch songs to curators on many more platforms than you have on your own. Because all our artists can do it on Spotify for artists, but they can't do it on like the weirder platforms. They can't do it on Beatport, for example. Beatport requires a label to work with to begin with. So that's a big thing if you're an electronic artist. Because if you want to sell music, Beatport is probably the best one. And they are very supportive of unknown. They listen to them songs, and if they like it, it gets featured. It doesn't matter if it's your first release or if it's your 100th. Like if it's good, they will feature it. So I think that is another big thing, like the label exclusive platforms.
Another thing is that I mean, I know you have other things aside from your music and managing your label. So what sort of advice would you give in terms of time management and just being able to do all this stuff alongside your other stuff as well?
Oh, that is a bit hard because it has gotten harder over time, because the things I do on the side takes up quite a bit of time now. But it also has helped me with the label, and the things I did with the label have helped me in the things I do on the side as well. But if you come back to what the question before, what the label can do for you, it's like sort of the same thing. If you want to have the time to focus on producing music, for example, it's good. Like you should find some good labels to work with and work with them, basically, because it would save you time and you can focus on what you enjoy doing. For me, it was like, I always enjoyed making music. Then I started with the label stuff, and it was something basically I enjoyed more. But with high workload, it has sort of hindered my ability to make music myself from time to time, because it's like, oh, now I have the time, but now I have to fix a lot of like administrative stuff with the label. So if you want a tip for like how to spend your time wisely with these sort of things, I would say do the things you want to, and if you feel like it has become very, very stressful time, then have like a good reflective look at what is taking up the time. Are all these things like necessary? Do I really want to do all these things still? So it has become very hard with the time actually, and that is why I'm doing some sort of restructuring in the background,
Mm.
um, because I still want to do it, but the old structure just took way too much time, and it wasn't really anything I could do with it to save time without making some major changes. So yeah, I mean, even if you have a lot of time, you have to think about it. That after a while, you might not have like that initial drive as you had when you started, because when you start, everything is new. Everything is like,
Mm.
oh, I learned this and I learned that, and it's like super fun, and it's still fun afterwards. But the drive might not be at the exact same level as when you start. You know, with everything, it's like when everything is new, it's like, oh, everything is so fascinating. Um, so you have to consider that after a while, when it just takes more and more time, like, do you really have like the drive to spend every minute of your day doing a specific thing? Um, and yeah, so I would say that it's tough. But if you feel like you're stressed for time, reflect on what is taking up the time, and what you can change to maybe make it more manageable.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of artists, they have, or maybe music is not their full time thing, so they have a lot of other stuff going on as well. So, but I think it helps to do something that you really love and that you're passionate about. But yeah, sometimes you just have to, I guess, take a step back and review and think where you can make changes. Yeah. Yeah, so that's, I think, another really good advice for everyone here listening. Well, I mean, this has been really awesome. And to round things off, let's have a short section on shout outs, which is, I think, hopefully will be quite interesting among all the guests we have here on the
Yeah.
podcast. So for the first like artist or group, who would you say is like a rising star or like a one to watch in this scene?
Oh, I have to basically look at what I've been listening to as of late. It's a good question. Um, I was thinking if there are like any smaller artists that I listen to
Mm.
at the moment. Um, I would say maybe, let's see here, where did I have it? Um, I wouldn't say it's like a small artist maybe, but I've listened to Skybreak for a bit recently. He released an album in yeah, this summer it was,
Mm.
and that one. So I heard it because he made a remix of "Summer's Gone" with I think it's Dabin, and it's like one of my favorite songs. Um, and I really enjoyed the remix. So I went back, like never heard of the artist before, so I went to him, his profile, and listened through. I saw the album, so I listened through the album. It's like so many good songs on it. So I would say that it has like 138,000 on Spotify monthly listeners. Not huge, and only like a few songs that have like bigger streams. So that would probably be like the first one that comes to mind. Other than that, I mean, it's very hard. I listen to a lot of things, but when I like reflect back and look through my like my main playlist
Yeah.
right now, it has been a lot of bigger artists recently. And so that would be my pick.
Yeah,
Skybreak
yeah, that's a good pick.
would be my like hidden talent right now.
Yeah. Secondly, is there like a unique act you've seen recently? So like maybe someone who's been releasing a song with a sound you may have never really heard of before, or just someone who's doing something really cool with their music.
I mean, it's a bit tricky. I think like if we talk about a really good act,
Hmm.
I always enjoy watching Datwikas,
Uh,
because I think they have like you can instantly hear that it's them because they have like a very distinct lead sounds, distinct
yeah.
kicks that are very like it's their signature stuff. But I just enjoy like the vibe. It's like super good mood, just have stupid fun. And if we talk about it as a live act, I think one of the best things about the Twikas is that they do like sort of, if when I saw them in Sweden, for example, they played some Swedish songs
Mm,
because they are in Sweden
yeah.
and they are from Norway, so they know like the Swedish culture. But then they go to another place of the world and they switch a few songs in their set that are like, oh, these are typical for this part, and they make a hardstyle remix of it and stuff like that. So I think they are very good at catering to the audience there, while not making any big changes to the set. So it's still very much the same, like stupid fun, lots of like famous older songs that they're doing hardstyle versions of. So I would say as a live act, it would definitely be that weakest. If we talk about releasing music and having a cool sound, I would maybe say like a few of the later songs from Morton.
Mm,
I've been in love with the future rave sounds since I heard like the first teaser for it from David
yeah.
Guetta, and when he played it like the very first future rave song at some place, and he posted like a short clip of it like half a year before it was released. I always enjoyed that sound. It was like I couldn't wait to get the first song. But he has released Hollow was a few years
Oh
ago,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like the newer one that followed a similar style, Take Me Home.
Mm,
Um, I really enjoy those because it's combined like the future rave sound with
yeah.
the I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it has a very particular lead sound with a lot of like long bass pads in the background,
Mm,
lots of reverb, giving like a huge atmosphere. But these two songs were a bit more progressive house in the bass, but it had the future rave sound set. Um, and I found them really enjoyable. And also his latest one with David Guetta, Lucky, has been like going really hard with me. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think yeah, Hollow it was a great track. It was one of my favorites as well. Yeah, I mean, coming from trance, that there was a lot of I think influences there as well. I think
yeah,
that's also like a key thing with newer tracks is that they sort of combine a lot of genres together. So it's really hard to now pinpoint exactly what genre is this song. So I think
oh,
that's really cool.
yeah, you're 100% correct in that. It's like so annoying when you try to make like sort of an organized playlist, and it's like, oh, these songs fits very well, but then in the last like one third of the songs, it's like switched up. So now it's a completely different genre. And it's like, oh, what do I classify this as? But I think that is a very nice thing,
Mm, yeah.
and a way to be creative because you can use like your old sound, but do new things with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, who would you like to see on a show like this? So, to share their stories and experiences. Is there anyone in particular you want to hear about?
Another tough question like this,
I mean,
like
it can be anyone, but I mean, we can't promise, we're gonna have them on, but yeah.
I mean, if you could if you could get maybe some artists we have had on the label,
Oh yeah.
it would be fun to hear like their story, maybe things that I haven't talked to them about before, and because this is like a very different settings. So yeah, maybe some of them would be up for it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not
definitely.
sure, but yeah, it would be fun to hear at least.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what we can do in the future. But yeah, I'll definitely note that down. And before you go, let's look into 2026. So, is there something that you could share, maybe about your artist project or from the label?
Yeah, so I hope to get all of the back end things mentioned before, get those done pretty soon, because my goal will be to go back to releasing quite a lot of music
Mm,
from myself, um, because I feel like that has been suffering a bit recently, and before that it was like I released a lot of songs and it was like, oh, I released a lot of songs and the next year I released the same amount plus two more, and then the next year it was like maybe plus two from the year before, and it was like
mm,
I was very active with producing music and releasing music, and I sort of missed that. So, for example, I only released one song this year, which is and before that, like if I look back on 2024, I mean, It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs. And maybe in like 2021 or 2022, it was maybe like 20. So I want to go back to releasing a lot of music, because I feel like I'm motivated to produce more music again. So I'm looking forward to having the time to actually do so. So that is my plan for the label. We'll see. Hopefully we can release some good demos, but as I said, we'll be a bit more selective. So we'll see what shows up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to all this stuff coming next year for you and your label. And it's been a really good chat with you. So thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the listeners, they can take away so much from this.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I try to be, I try to share as much as possible. It's like, it was really fun to be on. Very good questions, some tricky questions that are very good, but that like really got me thinking, like, what do I actually listen? What have I actually been listening to as of late? Like, what artists? Like, because sometimes that is like just goes autopilot. You don't really think about it. You just play and you listen to the last songs you add to your playlist. But when you ask the questions, was like, oh, what is actually in the playlist now? You don't really reflect on it all the time. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon.